Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episode 1019. We've just been continuing the fight with Kaido, so luckily there's not too much to talk about in these pre-thoughts, and I say luckily because I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to record this, so I need to get this done as quickly as possible. So, yeah, we've just been continuing to fight with Kaido and Big Mom, our worst generation on the roof are taking them on, and that's pretty much all that's going on at the moment. Like, they're getting some heavy hits in on Kaido, and it's kind of, I would say, almost even at this point. And I believe the last episode kind of ended with teasing us with Kaido's halfway form, which we haven't actually seen outside of the intro yet. Obviously the intro kind of spoils it for us, but we're still going to see it here in the actual episode. So, yeah. Like I said, though, we just have to get this going. I don't really have the time to talk much more, so let's do it. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll get into spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. And we were fucking cock-teased. Oh, I assume it's like this in the manga, too, so I'm gonna just say Oda fucking cock-teased us. Teasing us with that little glimpse at Kaido's half-point form, and then just completely returning from the fight to cover everyone else again. It's like we have a few episodes that's pretty much nothing but the fight against Kaido and Big Mom. Roof piece, as people call it. We're getting this amazing fight with the worst generation taking on Big Mom and Kaido. Get some real cool imagery, some amazing animation and visuals, and of course, just some fantastic moments. And then right when it really starts to get interesting, and it shows like, oh, Kaido's going to show off his half-point form now, something we haven't seen from him outside, again, in the opening. It's like, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, nope, we're just gonna move away from that for now and focus on Tama and Frankie and Nami and Usopp and all of that stuff going on. The stuff going on in the main hall with the ice zombies. Let's go back to that stuff for a bit. And the thing is, I don't mind going back to that stuff. I wanted it to go back to that stuff. But the fact that they cock-teased us so hard with that little glimpse of Kaido's halfway form is just, god damn it. The thing is, though, it was so fucking smart to do it that way. Have a few episodes, or probably equivalent of a couple chapters in the manga, dedicated to this big battle starting. And then when you start to show something new, something really interesting and exciting, to cut away from it, to build up that tension, build up that suspense, build up that hype, while going back and reconvening with the other stuff that's been going on that people have been wanting to get back to as well. So it's kind of scratching two different itches here in a really fucking weird way to word that, but it's returning back to the stuff that we did want to get back to. These battles that are happening all around Onigashima that we wanted to cover again. It's like, yeah, that's a big deal to get back to this stuff. But also, the building of suspense and tension and hype with Kaido's halfway form is the right way to handle things that I feel like a lot of shows nowadays don't understand. So many shows nowadays, especially when it comes to Netflix, are so obsessed with the idea of binging or of just like throwing so much at you at once that they, and I've complained about this before, but that uh they lose a lot of what makes shows great, and that is the tension, the weight. By having episodes end in cliffhangers and stuff, it allows fans to, wait a week to theorize, to think about it, to really cover their bases and really focus on what's going to happen next. It creates an excitement and keeps people's interest in the series at a high point. It's smart, and One Piece has always done this very well. But a lot of shows nowadays are getting screwed in this regard because of, well, binging. People are so obsessed with binging. It's like, we want it now, we want to get through it now, we don't want to wait, that it ruins the excitement of shows, and certain shows are just outright destroyed by it. One such big example recently has been JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. The hype for that pre its release was exceptional, like JoJo levels of hype. But then after the release of the first batch of episodes and everything, we're waiting a year for another batch. When the second trailer came out on YouTube and everything, it got so significantly less views than the first trailer did. It's proving that this batch model, this binging model, does not work and is actually detrimental to the overall, like, quality of a show and its retention rate. I was trying to think of that word earlier, but it's retention rate within the minds of the community and the fans and the viewers. It's like they're not going to retain the hype and the interest in a show when you release them in batches like this. It's like, okay, yeah, you'll have that hype for maybe a couple weeks there, but then when you have to wait a year for more episodes, it's like people are just going to move on. It ruins shows to do it this way. And it's the same thing when they hold off on, when streaming services like Netflix get the rights to anime and hold off until like they can put up a bunch of episodes at once, so that the hype for the show when it was supposed to be coming out dies down, because the fans just move on because they don't want to wait forever just to get to a series. And because of that, the shows end up losing their popularity and just not doing as well. Shows like Carol and Tuesday and Great Pretender had this issue, where it's like there was excessive hype for them when they were first announced and first coming out, but then because Netflix got their rights and everything, people had to wait for a bunch of episodes to be released in Japan. So it's like, oh, you have to wait for the first, 12 episodes of Carol and Tuesday? You have to wait 12 weeks, at least, to see any of Carol and Tuesday via legal streaming in the US. And it's fucked up, and it ruined the show. And that's why Carol and Tuesday, despite its quality and despite even being directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, the same director as Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo and Space Dandy, a really well acclaimed, really well loved director, despite that, Carol and Tuesday failed. It did not do well because of the binge model. The binge model, the batch release fucked it up, and it's doing the same for JoJo. And One Piece does not have that problem. That's kind of what this entire rant was building to. Because as I said, One Piece, it allows us to have these weeks between where it's like, okay, we get to breathe. We get to focus on each of these things happening. So it's like, okay, something happens at the end of the episode. Big cliffhanger, big surprise. We have to wait a week and we start theorizing. We start thinking about it. The hype keeps building. It doesn't just stay stagnant. It's not like, oh, we're very hyped because recency, and it just stays that hype the entire time. No, it builds. It goes up as the week progresses because we're getting more and more excited to see how the payoff comes. And this is a great example of that. You have that big surprise of like, oh, Kaido's going into his halfway form. And so everybody's getting really excited that, waiting for the next episode. And then, so it's like at this episode, it's like everyone's going to be watching because they're really excited. But then it like goes to something else. Again, something that we've wanted. So it's not disappointing in that regard. But at the same time, it continues to build the hype over, okay, so maybe next episode we're going to get Kaido's halfway form. And by doing this, it keeps that retention rate. It keeps people tuning in. Because it keeps building up the suspense. It keeps building up the excitement. This is how you run a fucking show. People need to take notes. This is how you do it. Like, God, I just love this so much. This is why, even when a show is already released and complete and everything, even when I react to it, this is why I usually only try to do one episode at a time, unless it's like a show with just way too many episodes in a season, and I just want to get through it a little quicker. Stuff like OKKO or Adventure Time, for example. It's like, and plus those are half-length episodes as well, so there's that too. But most of the time, like, I only do multiple episodes for, like, okay, the end of a season, or if there's a specific, like, two-parter or something. Otherwise, it's like one episode a week. We just get to that episode, and then we'll wait a week for the next one. And it's like, okay, this allows me to keep my hype going every time. And it's just, this is just, it's how shows should be watched. Luckily, I think most people are starting to come to terms with realizing that the binge model fucking sucks. I think that's becoming a lot more, like, well-known and more commonly believed nowadays. But the binge model has been a big thing for a long time, and it's not going to go away anytime soon. It's not. Netflix has experimented with weekly releases on a couple things, but you know they're not going to, like, fully change over. And a lot of these weekly releases are still in batches. Stuff like The Circle or whatnot, like, they release a few episodes each week. And then it's like, okay, so you have 3 or 4 episodes this week. You watch those, then you still have to wait. You can binge through those, then you still have to wait for the next set next week. And it's like, it's closer to being better, but it's still not what we want. It still hurts the overall experience, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion. Again, a lot more people are coming to terms with this and realizing this, that it takes away the tension and the nail-biting anxiety of what's going to happen, and the excitement that builds naturally as you wait. Waiting, even if we don't necessarily like to do it, is important to this kind of stuff, to the enjoyment of media. So, yeah. And I'm going to stand by that. But yeah, I really like this episode. Tama's plan was really fucking good. It was a genius idea. And again, while it's really kind of fucked up if you think about it, in this kind of situation, it's needed. Also, it's being used on people who are actively evil and fucked up. So honestly, fuck them. But also, it's like, in order to save Wano, this is honestly needed. So I can't, like, be against it. Usopp and Nami helping out, and them even pranking the bad guys by pretending they're being chased, only to turn around and it's like, oh, hey, by the way, guys behind us, yeah, you see them? They're not chasing us. They're with us. Attack. Like, I love that. And it's like, I called it before it was revealed, because it's like, yeah, that's a thing Usopp and Nami would do, and we've seen how they've been gathering all these people with the Kibidango, so it's like, it was easy to see coming, but it was still well handled. Frankie taking down Sasuke, it seems, so, like, that's great. Nami zapping Ulti, who's just back again, just to get zapped again. Thank you for your input, Ulti. I love you though. I can't be mad at you. You're adorable as fuck. um, but yeah, it's like we're getting to actually cover a lot of this, and this episode was very Tama focused. Like this was her episode for sure. Hence why she's my thumbnail for this episode. I just, yeah, you can't ignore that. Tama is absolutely a genius, and she needs to be recognized as such during the banquet following this battle. When we have the banquet at the end of the arc that was already set up and everything, and it's a tradition in One Piece. Let's be honest. When we have that banquet, Tama better be given the credit she deserves. She helped just as much as anyone to save this country. Tama is just an absolute boss, and we love her. Like I just love how much effort Oda puts into crafting these characters to make them so fucking likable and so fucking awesome. It's just like it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that Oda can do this. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Obviously, I thought it was a fantastic episode. A fantastic idea to hold off on Kaido's reveal and everything. I just think this is fucking amazing. This entire arc has been fucking amazing, but especially the raid on Onigashima. It's just like there's a reason this is my favorite piece of media of all time. Why the One Piece anime it means this fucking much to me. There's a reason for it, and we're seeing it in action with this arc. Like it's just this is beyond. This is just a step beyond anything we've ever seen with One Piece or almost anything else out there. In fact, I would say it probably is a step beyond anything else out there. And of course, it's all opinion, it's all subjective. And I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode of One Piece down in the comments below. So let me know, and thank you so much for tuning in. And sorry about my ranting and rambling in these afterthoughts. I tend to do that sometimes. For now, though, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.